focus. It's important. Second strategy I have for you is to consider your emotions, okay? Because regardless if you're focusing on yourself, the audience, or Mickey Mouse, you're going to feel something when you're up there, unless you're a psychopath, of course. Assuming you're not, let's talk about what you actually feel, what actually happens physically in your body when you feel, say, anxious. What symptoms do you physically have when you're anxious? Raise your hand if you'd like to share. Niall, go ahead.
Pressure on the chest.
Okay, nice. Pressure on the chest, almost like someone's mauling you in jiu-jitsu. Hope that didn't hit home. Nigel, what was yours?
It was the fight or flight, really. You know, whether to back down or go forward, really. That sort of instinctive, outmoded sort of reaction that we get.
Yeah, so the whole body just feels tense, right? I guess.
Paralyzed, yeah.
Yeah, Joseph, you got a point?
Yeah, just increased heart rate. So that's that's the one thing that I noticed. Is so then your increased heart rate, and then that has, you know, it speeds up everything, and that can your voice to anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you look at your Fitbit and you think, Jesus Christ, absolutely, that does happen. And Stephen?
Worrying that everything could go wrong, that could possibly go wrong.
Right, so mind ruminating all the time, absolutely. Isabel, this will be the last one.
Sweating.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Yeah.
And I become what my granny would have called a flipperty gibbet. So moving around and things up and down, that kind of thing, but sweating.
Yeah, I know a speaker who actually, when he goes to speak in person, he actually takes 2 pairs of shirts just to be safe. So yes, we have all those things. We sweat, we have the butterflies, we ruminate, we have this expectation for what's coming up, our heart rate's going. Those are all symptoms of anxiety. And I'm sure you've heard that there are also symptoms of excitement, okay? When we're excited, our heart rate does increase. You know, we have the butterflies. We feel intense. We're thinking about something coming up. They are very similar. And what people will often tell you is that means you've got a choice. You can view those symptoms that you have as you being anxious or as you being excited. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kyle, yeah, I'm going to say to myself, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And my brain's going to say, no, I'm effing not. And you might be right. You might be right. So there is a middle ground here, if that's too much for you. Does anyone remember the Brazilian footballer called Kaká? Anyone remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the World Player in the Year in 2008. But what he does not really matter. What he said matters. He was doing an interview and he was asked, you know, by the interviewer, before these big Champions League games, before these big World Cup finals, do you get nervous, Kaká? And he said, yes, of course. But I view it as a good thing. He views it as him being ready. You see, when you feel those symptoms, what it means firstly is that you care about the situation coming up. And secondly, you're 100% focused on the situation coming up. It has your full attention. And you know, and I know, when we do a task and give 100% of our attention to it, we tend to do a lot better than when 50%'s over here, 20%'s back there, and 15%'s back there, okay? So that could potentially mean that when you feel those symptoms, you could view them as you being primed and ready to go. It doesn't necessarily have to be something negative. It can be you being ready to perform. My point is, you're going to feel something. You have to choose how you're going to interpret it. It can be you being anxious, excited, or ready. The choice is yours.